There's been a new poll that has revealed that Rachel Reeves' Spring Statement is almost as unpopular as Liz Truss's infamous mini-budget. Just 1 in 5 people have had a positive view of the Chancellor's latest fiscal event, I'm going to call it that, which includes just 1/3 of Labour voters. And this comes as the Chancellor announced a series of cuts to welfare and a downgrade in the UK's growth forecasts. Well, for more analysis, let's speak to researcher at the TaxPayers Alliance, Callum McGoldrick. OK, Callum, let's talk about this. Her Spring Statement. Let's break it down. What were the real standout things in it for you?
Well, thank you very much for having me on. I think when you look at it, Rachel Reeves said in October that she only wanted to have one major fiscal event a year. We know that Parliament's rules state that they have to give 2 statements like this to the House, so this is what the Spring Statement was. Most of the things in it were pre-briefed. There were no rabbits to pull out of the hat. The biggest shocks, I think, were the OBR announcing in their forecast that they hadn't factored in things like the new Employees' Rights Bill, meaning that they're going to have an incredibly optimistic look on growth. And even then, they only gave it a 50-50 chance that this budget would bring us growth.
Well, you see, that is the point, isn't it? If you are going to raise national insurance and you are going to insist that workers take on people who are sick, because this is the point that I've made, then if you have a workers' employment rights bill that comes in that says somebody is an employee from day one, which employer is going to give somebody who's just come off the sick for many years a full-time contract?
Well, I think the proof is in the pudding with this. And when you speak to business owners, they do not like the budget. They've said that they do not like the budget. It's going to raise taxes for them. And next year, we're set to hit a record high tax burden.
Well, now, she said that we'd be £500 better off. Where was that coming from?
They have said that they're going to cut things such as welfare spending and increasing productivity in the public sector, which they claim will save 14 billion. But yet their manifesto in their last budget put out that government spending will rise by 219 billion. The £500 is based on an OBR report, but even the OBR only gave it a 50-50 chance of actually coming true. So I think it's more wishful thinking than likely to happen.
Oh dear. I mean, look, I didn't see anything in it that was particularly helpful in terms of growth. Was there anything in there that you noticed that would help to grow the economy?
I think they sometimes say the right things on house building. We obviously need to build more, but then their targets are not ambitious enough. But the environment that they've made for everyone responsible for building houses, whether that's sole traders that do the plumbing and electricity, or whether that's the builders that make the houses, or whether it's the businesses that are in the plots of development, they've made it massively more difficult and more complex for them to just run their businesses.
If you could, say, craft the Spring Statement yourself, what would you do?
I think we have to look at simplifying our tax codes as well as just reducing the overall tax burden. We have the longest tax code in the world. You know, it stands at thousands upon thousands of pages. Other countries make do with just a few hundred pages. I think I would look at taxes like inheritance tax that have tens upon tens upon tens of caveats, which each have their own subdivisions, and say we do not need a tax system that is as complex.
So your main thing would be simplifying it. And in terms of rich people, actually, would you create another tax level? So like people who maybe have an income of, say, 10 million or something, where they would pay, because people who have an income of 10 million pay the same tax code as people who are earning just over, 200,000 or whatever it is?
Definitely not. I think when the Treasury gets money, it tends to spend it worse than people that are good at investing their own money. I think you look at countries that have used a wealth tax and it doesn't work anywhere. France brought in a wealth tax and lost 60,000 millionaires within 6 years. It just doesn't work.
All right. Well, listen, Callum McGoldrick, thank you very much. He's a researcher at the TaxPayers Alliance.